I am here to do my second reading from my book, Ordinary Matters, and the title of this chapter is My Chrysanthemums. It was the first week of school during my first grade year. The past several days had been my first experience with school because when I grew up, kindergarten and preschool, they were not mandatory. However, some of the kids in my first grade class had been to kindergarten or some type of daycare. I was fortunate enough to have and to be nurtured by my loving great grandmother in her home. Great grandmother was very industrious. She loved the outdoors. What would have been my preschool or my kindergarten years were spent filled with daily outdoor activities, as well as being closely supervised by my great grandmother. Being in her watchful care every day allowed me to play and imagine that I could do anything. I could be a pirate who could sail the high seas, and also I could be a chef who cooked meals for a king. You know, those meals were a concoction of sand, rocks, and mud, and they were cooked in my inoperable Easy Bake Oven. My grandmother had a sizable vegetable garden, and it was very neat rows. It was her masterpiece. She also maintained several flower beds. They were always immaculate and bursting with pink and red rose bushes. She had pecan trees, fig trees, and all sorts of perennials that would come forth in their due season. I particularly remember the yellow tulips that burst forth in the spring, and also the red, yellow, and orange chrysanthemum that ushered in the cool of fall. We even had a small mock fish pond in the backyard, and it was filled with tiny gold and orange goldfish that would swim for your life when I threw a rock into the water. As much as I loved my granny and I loved the outdoors, I was really excited about going to school. Because I had not socialized with a big group of kids on a daily basis, I didn't realize that a classroom could be a place tainted with competition and attitudes. It was the first experience I would say tried my values, my self-worth, and my identity. Toward the end of the school week, my first grade teacher gave us a huge picture of chrysanthemums to color. I was ecstatic. Wow, how did she know about Granny's garden? And how did she know about the flowers? Hurriedly, I pulled my crayon box from underneath my desk and I went to create some eye-catching, breathtaking chrysanthemums. I went to work on my picture right away. I knew exactly how to color them. I colored my flowers red, orange, and gold, just like the brilliant ones that I had observed in my grandmother's garden. I totally enjoyed this coloring activity. I became oblivious to the other students' efforts to conform their flowers to the de facto kinder leaders' colors, which were yellow, outlined with blue or black marker. When I got ready to turn in my sheet that was vibrant with colors, I instantly became insecure about my artistic expression. My coloring sheet was the only one with red, orange, and yellow flowers. It was different. I wanted mine to look just like everyone else's. My confidence vanished, and I was crushed. I noticed that the teacher had given several other students a second flower sheet to color because they were not pleased with their first attempts either. She looked approvingly at my skillfully colored picture bursting with fall colors. I asked for a new coloring sheet, and she replied uncompromisingly, no. With my arms folded across my chest, I pouted and I stomped all the way back to my desk. I wanted my flowers to look like the rest of my classmates. It was important for me at that moment that I fit in. So I frantically scavenged through the trash until I found a slightly used coloring sheet that was salvageable. Remember, I am a pirate and I cook for kings. I worked on the second sheet with the same fervor and precision that I did my first sheet, coloring the chrysanthemums, of course, the second time, yellow, outlined with blue, just like the rest of my classmates. When it was time to turn in the coloring sheet at the end of art class, I presented my teacher with my replacement sheet. I had carefully slipped the red, orange, and gold flowers underneath my desk. Somehow, I couldn't bring myself to throw it in the trash because I still love those vibrant colors that reminded me so much of home and my grandmother's nurturing heart. The next morning when I arrived at school, I became upset again because I saw my red, orange, and gold chrysanthemums proudly displayed as a second coloring from the left above the blackboard. How many times have my greatest strength and resolve been reactivated when I recall my picture pinned to the blackboard, displaying my originality and my beauty? Lots. I am so grateful to my first grade teacher who decided to showcase my chrysanthemums because she realized that our Creator had fearfully and wonderfully made me. Undoubtedly, my great-grandmother and my first grade teacher, they have been two of my most impactful mentors. Their unfading influence on my heartfelt coloring sheet has mattered an entire lifetime. Remember, God cares. We matter. Every thought matters. And every day matters. Thank you.